the fifth win in a row might be the sweetest one yet for the Cherry and White.
After 2 periods of overtime, the 20th ranked Owls sent Wagner packing.
I'm Sam Cavone, live outside of Edberg Olson Hall. Coming up, I'll be taking a look ahead into Temple football's bye week and seeing what the Owls can do to prepare and finally get a win against their next conference opponent.
Later on in the show, I'll tell you about one Temple club team that focuses impacting each other's lives on and off the field. OwlSports Update is live and it starts right now.
We are officially halfway through the fall semester, but the excitement isn't slowing down just yet. Good afternoon and welcome to OwlSports Update. I'm Natalie Koranda.
And I'm Gabriel Linington. That's right, double overtime doesn't happen too often, but better late than never for Temple field hockey in its game against Wagner. It should take 60 minutes to play a college field hockey game, but it appears as though 60 just isn't enough for Temple. On Sunday, the Owls played their third overtime in their last 4 games. The Owls might have dominated the stat sheet, but the deciding play was made with only 4 minutes left on the clock. Here we go against Wagner, heading over to the Temple Sports Complex. Both teams were pushing the pace, but it was the defense for each that shined, as only 2 goals were scored in regulation. Temple started trailing early in this one. The Seahawks were the first to get on the board. Cami Vala gets the first goal as Florja Lanice squares it in, and the Seahawks get the easy finish. Now here's a penalty for the Owls. Elise Mays ties the score to get her 3rd goal of the season. The Owls were putting the pressure on with a 12-5 shot advantage over the Seahawks. Now this game was a long one, a double-time affair. Augusta Choteri drove a ball into the danger zone and found a way to Mays to get her 2nd goal of the game with 4 minutes left on the clock. Temple wins 2-1.
Before this one, the Owls extinguished the flames. The team kicked off its weekend with a bang as they beat number 18 ranked Liberty, which was the first win against the Flames since 2011.
But it wasn't just Liberty that was nationally ranked. Temple also beat 20th ranked Monmouth and 18th ranked Old Dominion in the games before. Might not be a huge surprise, but this 5-game win streak is gaining national attention. Temple just hit number 23 in the nation in the latest RPI polls and 20th in the latest national coaches poll.
This marks the first time the Owls have been ranked since September 2023 when it was number 19, and is also the 6th week this team has been ranked since the beginning of the 2018 season. With a 5 straight in the books, the 20th ranked Owls are hungry to keep it going in a Big East matchup at Providence at home. This will mark the 15th time the Owls will face the Friars, and the teams are 7-7 head-to-head. The Cherry and White will also have a week-long break before taking on Georgetown next week, also at home. The Bulldogs are 1 away from the bottom of the Big East standings, and with a 3-7 overall record to end the weekend, they will play Lafayette in Easton. Temple back on the road for the first time in a month. In Connecticut, Evan Simon did not dress due to his shoulder injury. Boris Brock gets his starting job back and gets dropped on the opening drive. Dante Wright then fumbles on a punt return, and UConn takes over in Owls territory. And on a 3rd and long, DeJuan Black applies the pressure and forces Joe Fiano to throw it away. Since missing the first 4 games of the season due to off-the-field issues, Black has excelled. Chris Freeman does convert from 40-plus yards away to give UConn a lead. Into the second, the Jugo guy has got some mojo going for him. Therese Worthy shakes off the defender. Worthy led Temple with 95 rushing yards. The Huskies now inside their own 10. Finiano with a check down to TJ Sheffield, and DJ Woodbury takes him out of bounds. That'll also take UConn's offense off the field, and the special teams on the punt is blocked by Antoine Santiago, and John Adams jumps on top of it to give Temple 6. Now moving in, and at the start of the second half, it's 9-7. Maddox Trulio from 60.
It's got enough leg. Wow. And booms it through. How about that? Wow. Maddox Trujillo, an absolute bomb.
A little over 2 minutes left in the third. Vignano passes to TJ Sheffield, who spins around the defenders and runs 58 yards into the end zone. UConn retakes the lead 16-13. After a rushing touchdown by Brock to put the Owls up again, the Huskies respond with a touchdown of their own. Terrell Robinson pushes 1 yard to make it a 3-point ball game. Now the very last play of the game, Temple can kick a field goal to tie it, but instead the Owls go in for the win.
God gets the stop. They're going to run it back the entire way. The Huskies close this one out. Much.
Temple leaves East Hartford with Broken Hearts falling 29-20.
Most part, the turnovers were good to see, keeping us in the game. Our special teams played extremely well early. I thought we played 2 phases pretty good. First, half of that ball game, and offense came on a little late, but still enough to give us a chance to win that ball game. Came down to the last play, we didn't get it done. Yeah, I'm going to coach to win, because that's what my players wanted. That's what we want as a coach staff. That's what I want as a head football coach, is to win ball games. And I think our players have been through so much, and they deserve that. And I think it was absolutely the right call. I would do it again. I thought our kids showed a lot of grit. I'm proud of them. They didn't come away with the win. But again, they put themselves in position to get that done, and we'll find a way to get that done.
Joining us live from Edinburgh-Olsen Hall is Inside the Nest, Sam Cavone. Sam, the bye week is a great time to reflect and react on previous performances. What do the Owls need to focus on the most during this bye week?
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I think the Owls really need to focus on stopping the run. The defense did a good job against UConn, stopping them 99 yards during the whole game. But right now, Temple is averaging over 230 rushing yards a game. They're allowing that. And it's almost up to 1,500 yards on the season. You can't have these teams running all over you and putting points up majority that way. Another huge thing that Temple really needs to get through their heads and focus on is communication and coaching. We saw it in this UConn game. The delay game penalty, taking a timeout with 4 minutes into the third quarter, that's not okay. Miscommunication has plagued this team throughout the entire season. And then the last thing is just getting your quarterbacks healthy. You can't have 2 quarterbacks injured going forward. So getting them healthy, getting them at least some reps, but making sure they're 100% after this bye week.
Yeah, exactly. But Sam, so both teams are looking to bounce back after going on a 2-game losing streak. What do you think Temple are going to switch up for the Tulsa game?
So I definitely think that the Owls need to come into this game with a better mindset. You can either flush the first half of the season, or you can keep it in your mind and use it as motivation. Either way, it can tie in with getting a faster start in these games. When you get points on the board early, when you get the momentum going, that's going to impact the rest of the game. Temple is currently being outscored 50-3 in the first quarter alone. So getting those points on the board early on is so crucial. Looking at the defensive side of things, just pressuring the quarterback, forcing turnovers, that will help so much. Temple did well in this against UConn, but they can do better, and I know that it can happen. And just getting points on the board after those turnovers happen is crucial as well.
His head coach Rod Carey lasted only 3 seasons. In Drayton's 3rd season, how would you compare his performance with Carey's?
So the numbers definitely speak for themselves. Carey had 12 wins, 20 losses. He got Temple to a bowl game in 2019. Everything just looks a little bit better on paper for Carey than Stan Drayton at the moment. So I will say that on paper, Carey was the better coach in his 3 years at Temple, but Stan Drayton still has a little bit of time to catch up to that, hopefully. Now, next week, the Owls are back at home at the Link for homecoming against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Temple will be looking for its first conference win, but Tulsa will be as well. We will see it all on October 19th at 2 p.m. If you can't get to the game, you can stream it on ESPN+, or you can follow along with us on our social media platforms at OwlSports Update. With the Owls looking to bounce back after the loss at UConn, the spot for starting quarterback still remains unclear, especially with the unknown injury status of Brock and Simon. Reporting live from Edberg Olson Hall, I'm Sam Cavone. Natalie and Gabriel, back to you on the desk.
Thanks so much, Sam. Now it's time for our second break of the show. When we come back, it's all things tennis.
A new coach comes with new expectations, looking towards an exciting season ahead.
Plus, I'm OwlSports update Gabriel Bachelor. More football talk. I'll introduce you to the two primary coaches in charge of recruitment. We're back in 90. Welcome back to OwlSports update. The recruiting department for Temple football plays a crucial role in securing top talent and paving the way for the standout players we witness on the field. I had a chance to talk with two of the members of leading the staff.
We want guys that love football, that are very competitive, and are very coachable.
As for a football team as a whole, like the impression that we would love to leave is that we're a family here.
Hi, my name is Marcus Berry. I'm the Director of Player Personnel for Temple Football.
Hi, my name's Toriana Brown. I'm the Director of On-Campus Recruiting for Temple Football.
With us, we kind of want to identify, high-level football players, guys that have great athleticism, size, speed, the things that we're looking for per position, but guys that are really good academically.
In general, we'd love their experience to be fun and educational. So we want them to learn everything that Temple as a university has to offer, academic-wise, where they would live, the types of people that they will be around.
We don't want to just talk to the coach at the school. We kind of talk to the principal, guidance counselor, teachers at the school, and really get to learn who the champion is in that particular prospect's life.
We try to dig a lot deeper than that and get to know, like Coach Berry said, everybody that's important in their life and creating those relationships with them too and going past that surface level sort of conversation.
We feel like the high school recruiting is like our NFL draft. It's like our draft. And we look at transfer portal recruiting, whether it be from junior college or from other schools, as like our free agents. Usually you go to the portal when you want to get a player that has some experience already, that has actually played. So it's almost like a plug and play type guy.
Temple is a city campus. There's a lot going on. So that's another thing that just makes it a lot more unique and differentiates it from other recruiting processes.
You usually have a really good idea if they really like Temple, every part of it, and not just football, because we try to sell the entire university.
They're important to us as not just an athlete, but a human, a student. Like every aspect of what makes them whole is important to us. So that's kind of the impression that we want to leave on them.
With a strong foundation and a clear vision for success, Marcus Berry and Tori Brown will continue to do what they can to help shape the future of the football. I am Gabriel Bachelor. Gabe and Natalie, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brielle. It's a season of change for the men and women of Temple's tennis teams as a new director steps into town. OwlSport updates, Haley Smith talks with the team about its coaching transition.
Temple Tennis has officially begun a brand new season and with a brand new face spearheading the program. Jeff Brandis joined Temple over the summer after spending 9 years as head coach of both the men's and women's teams at Fairleigh Dickinson.
Philly's awesome, Temple's awesome. Like just from my first interview, you could get a real good, strong sense of community. Like everything about the place is just great, to be honest.
Former coach Steve Morrow was the head coach at Temple for 19 years. That's longer than some of the freshmen on this team have been alive.
Our old coach was here for a lot of time, so culture was kind of set. So now we need to adapt, but it's been really good so far.
Yeah, we try to do our best and then get used to like the new coach and the new players as well.
Both the men and women finished towards the bottom of the AAC last season after very strong years 1 year earlier.
Look, I look at tennis as like it's a competing sport. Competing is a skill in of itself, right? So that's the first focus. And then we work on real match situations that are going to occur, and we're going to just, piece by piece build a winning game.
The main tennis season is in the spring. That's when we'll get our first real look at the new man in charge. Reporting outside the pavilion, I'm Haley Smith, OwlSports Update.
Both tennis teams have a busy October ahead of them. The women's team won't be travelling too far this week, as the Owls have the ITA Regional at Penn. The men's team won't be far behind, as its regionals are just the week later. Then both teams will be heading down south to compete in the AAC Fall Championships in Houston starting on the 24th. Finally, the women will end October at Drexel, while the men will start November also in West Philly. We are up against our second break of the show. When we come back, we will be talking all things volleyball in a conference sweep over the weekend.
And we'll focus on the first two club teams of this afternoon. We're starting with rugby when we come back.
Welcome back. Temple Volleyball picked up a midweek win on Wednesday over Binghamton, 3-2. The Owls owned the final set 15-13. Sydney Jones and Taylor Davenport combined for 46 kills in the win. Move to McGonigal Hall for last weekend's matchup. Temple in the white uniforms against Florida Atlantic Owls in an offensive masterclass on Sunday afternoon. Two players led the way in this one. Freshman Sydney Jones led the match with a high of 15 kills, whilst Chelsea Banks had a team-high 6 blocks. Offensively, Banks put on a clinic, to say the least. She had a season-high 8 kills. Pair that with a .667 hitting percentage, and she was definitely in rhythm this game. She doesn't just bring blocks to the party. The first set was a close one with 8 lead changes, but no team led by more than 2 points. In the end, the Owls made it look pretty easy on paper with a 3-0 win.
Middle blocker Chelsea Banks and outside hitter Sydney Jones were named AAC Players of the Week following the second week of conference play. For Banks, this isn't her first time being recognized. She earns this after leading the team with 14 blocks, an average 2.33 blocks per set in 6 total against South Florida and Florida Atlantic. It is freshman Sydney Jones' first time earning this honor. Against South Florida, she led the Owls with a team best of 11 kills. And better yet, she led the match against Florida Atlantic with 15 kills. Club sports are becoming increasingly popular around campus, and Temple's rugby team is one of the more well-known. The team is part of the National Collegiate Rugby Mid-Atlantic Conference and competes at the Division I AA level. OwlSports Update's Kylie O'Connor has the latest on its successes.
Thanks, guys. There are about 15 to 20 new additions to the men's rugby team this semester, and the returning players make these new Owls feel welcome with every opportunity they can, whether it's going to new games alongside or doing community service in the area.
It's not often you get 60 students to converge on one field for one common goal. Well, after the sun sets.
It's been so great. Coming in, I really thought it would be challenging to make friends, but the second I got here, they welcomed all of us, and it was really easy to make friends, so it's been great so far.
This is the men's rugby team at Temple, where all are welcome, whether it's your first or fifth semester on the team.
Second group, ready up!
It's one of Temple's most popular club sports.
So I think it's really brought me a lot of structure, as with school and in classes. I think having practices multiple times a week really helps me stay focused on my classes as well.
When off the field, the team will often find time to be together, whether it's at the gym lifting weights or at the dining hall eating food. This is just one component of how the team maintains their connection.
I mean, the rugby team's a family, so we want to make sure that even when you're not playing, you're still together with the rugby team itself.
The alumni have set good standards for their current and future captains, which are announced this spring, and the friendships outlast their time at Temple.
So they laid the groundwork for what I can do, and Temple Rugby has a wide alumni that I've been in contact with and learned from, and I think staying positive and making sure that you're a positive role model for the rest of the team is the most important part.
Whether it's on or off the field, a graduating senior or a first semester freshman, the men's rugby team continues its tradition as one of the school's top club teams.
The team will continue its time together at their next game versus St. Joe's this Friday at 7 o'clock. I'm Kylie O'Connor reporting live for OwlSports Update. Guys, it's back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kylie. The team will play in its final 2 matches of the semester, starting this weekend against St. Joe's. In 2 weeks, they will travel to New Jersey to take on Rowan to wrap up for the fall. And now we are at our last break of the show. When we return, we will be tossing the spotlight from one club team to another.
This one plays off campus, deep in the woods of Fairmount Park. See you in 90 seconds.
Welcome back. There has been an increase in popularity for many alternative sports over the last few years. Fans at Temple usually pay very close attention to the 18 Division I teams, but some people are riding the rise of these alternative sports by creating new clubs. This one runs its way through Fairmount Park.
We're trying to get the sport out there in Temple and in like the world as well, because it is a kind of a niche sport.
It's disc golf, and it's becoming one of Temple's top new club sports. The club is just a year and a half old, with only 8 members and growing. It's a tight-knit group. They travel off campus about 10 minutes to Segley Woods for practice, and all of their experience levels vary.
A lot of the professionals in the sport like to get out there and try to help all the amateurs.
You know, if you're athletic, you can 100% get into it, but it is like form-based. And so with a lot of sports, you know, if you play ultimate frisbee or if you play soccer, a lot of skills are transferable.
Like golf, it's a sport that emphasizes technique, with discs instead of balls, wrists instead of clubs.
We have drivers, mid-ranges, and putters, all differing in the flight rim.
There's 2 types of throws. Forehand is this way, backhand's this way.
Perfecting your form, trying to get more distance, trying to get better at the sport.
If you want to get good, it takes a lot of work.
And weather can impact gameplay, just like this day with wind ripping through Fairmount Park.
You get a gust of wind and you don't know what your disc is going to do, whether it's going to go right, whether it's going to go left.
There is different gear depending on the weather and the skill level, which means this sport can be on the expensive side. Equipment costs can vary, but the nicer stuff like this backpack, which can hold up to 25 discs, will put you at about $200. Competitions also cost money, but they're an opportunity for the team to meet experienced players and play against one another.
Competitions, I think, are the best part of the sport. You're friends, but you're also just being like, yeah, I'm going to beat you today. No.
Players say, once you start, you won't want to stop aiming for the basket.
We're spamming in our group chats like, let's go play, let's go play.
Let's take a look at the weekend calendar. On Thursday, women's tennis kicks off a weekend of play at Penn with the ITA Regionals. Following that, volleyball travels to Alabama to face UAB. Moving on to Saturday, men's soccer plays Memphis at home. On Sunday, men's and women's rowing compete in the Navy Day Regatta taking place in Philadelphia. Women's soccer also heads to South Florida to take on USF. To finish off the weekend, volleyball is in Tennessee to face Memphis at 2. No words right now on how Hurricane Milton might change any of these events, especially down in Florida. We're wrapping up, but if you can't get enough of us, you're in luck. Follow us on social at OwlSports Update, then look out for the sports brief on Monday to catch you up on the weekend in Temple Athletics. On Tuesdays, Inside the Nest is back, and a week from today, our flagship show is right here at noon with OwlSports Update.
On behalf of our entire crew, he's Gabe Linington, I'm Natalie Koranda. Thank you and have a wonderful weekend.